All right, so this guy right here, Zohran Mamdani, is the new mayor of New York City, and congratulations to him. But at the end of the day, while there's some people trying to make it seem like he's the second coming of Christ, there's other people saying that he's going to be a disaster for New York City, and now one person who's going after him is Dave Portnoy, saying he's going to leave New York City because of him. For Barstool founder Dave Portnoy's politics, he said he's not some crazy MAGA guy, but at the same time, he did vote for Donald Trump because he cares about the economy. He basically said he's more socially left-leaning, but when it comes to economic issues, he's a proud fiscal conservative and sees that as the biggest priority, but he looks at how Democrats are heading. He thinks they're too much in the Bernie Sanders route, going way too far to the left. For Zohran, the guy is definitely not a friend of capitalism, where he's called for higher taxes on the wealthy, mass expansion to government services, more programs made free at taxpayer dime, and also at the same time wants massive more regulation like a $30 minimum wage. While Zohran might have some ideas that are interesting, Dave Portnoy does have a good point, because at the end of the day, Zohran is saying he wants all these new things to be funded by the wealthiest people in New York City. But in New York City right now, 48% of all the taxes are paid for by the top 1% of earners, who only make 38% of income. So really looking at it from that perspective, he's looking for them to now cover the bill for about 70% of things, even though that's twice what they actually make when it comes to city's income. Then a common counterpoint that people like Zohran would really have is it's still not fair that 1% of people get to make 38% of the income, but then looking at New York City, 45% of people aren't working, and that's not a bad thing. Most of those people are senior citizens or they're people under the age of 18. But when you factor it like that, it's not as big of a deal. The top 1% are making that much, especially when the top 1% is constantly changing and people come out of it and people enter it all the time. Still, because of everything going on, Dave Portnoy said that he doesn't feel people like him are welcomed in New York City anymore, people who want to create jobs and create wealth. So because of that, he's considering relocating Barstool out of New York City right now, which would move the company's 600 employees out of the city. Just to get an idea of how big of a deal that is for New York City, Barstool has about 600 employees. And let's just say the average salary is $80,000. It's probably higher than that, but let's go with that. That's $48 million right there for New York City. And on top of that, Barstool makes $250 million a year, so that could actually be a lot of tax revenue lost for New York. But still, it's not really clear if Dave Portnoy's threat should be something Zohran or New York City should worry about, because at the end of the day, it is still just a threat, and it's not really a big sign of other millionaires leaving. And in fact, there are states like Massachusetts where in 2022, with Maura Healey as governor, they introduced a 4% tax on millionaires, and when that happened, the amount of millionaires didn't decline. It actually went up over a period of 2 years. People forget that taxes are just one part of the picture, and there's actually a much bigger problem with regulation, where Zohran does want a $30 minimum wage, and even though he's saying it'll happen by 2030, there is still the problem that's been reported that would cost the city 150,000 jobs. But there's also just this. People do not like to live in a place they feel unwelcome. The reason Miami succeeded so much in the early 2020s was because a mayor was welcoming people in from the tech industry and all these other industries. But now we have a mayor in New York City who doesn't seem pro-business or pro-wealthy, so maybe some of them will leave, and I actually do agree with Dave Portnoy here. But with that, I'm Charles Parlo, Red, Blue, and You. Please subscribe to learn something.